fictional friends, and welcome to another episode of Fully Booked. I'm Megan.
And I'm Shirin.
Yay!
Yay!
And we're back to our little twosome this week. We're probably going to switch it up again next week, but it's okay.
Yeah, but you know, if y'all prefer just the two of us, that's okay.
You can be loud about it.
We'll just tell Arthur in the loudest way possible.
She just when you were saying that you wanted to like come back and like start up again, you were feeling fine about it. And You were like ready to get started up with things again. I was like, oh no, is she just upset that she thinks that she's been completely replaced?
Replaced.
I feel like you wanted the episodes with him to be terrible.
I did. I was like, get up.
She's like, no, I'm better at this.
Listening down. No.
At this point, I feel like, so we've been together for 11 years, and you and I have known each other for like 15-ish years now.
We've been together for 15
years. You and I have known each other for like 14 or 15 years now, and that's it, Arthur and I have been together for 11, going on 12, and so I feel like at this point, you two have enough sibling energy that you're just gonna like push each other out of things.
Yeah, it's just gonna get progressively louder between the two of us in these
and then
episodes.
It'll be just the two of you, and I'll stop saying
Yeah,
anything.
and Megan's gonna get pushed down. It's gonna be like, wait a minute.
Damn it, wait, what happened?
But it's like when we went on vacation that one time when my husband couldn't come with us.
Oh, yes.
And so it was the three of us. And before we went, I was like, oh gosh, like, I'm going to be a third wheel. No, Megan was the third wheel.
If anything, I'm the third wheel between the two of you.
Because we were just bickering like two siblings the entire time.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then driving you nuts.
Yeah,
so.
that's it, exactly. So if anything, I know what to expect from everything at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anywho.
So continuing, because I think I'd mentioned last week that we were going to just like for the month of May, we were going to have like some fun and just kind of do some like fun, different light stuff and like play some games and do whatever. So we kind of decided to do that. This is becoming a trend now. This is like a few weeks in a row that we're doing this. But I find it's fun. I feel like we're changing it up a little bit, and I kind of like doing that every once in a while.
It's fun.
Chances are next month we'll get back to like doing a theme or something like that. But for this month, it's been kind of fun to just like do something different. So we're gonna play around, since you haven't had the chance to do it. We're going to play a round of a game that we played at the beginning of the year, I think.
Yeah, it was like one of the first episodes you did with Arthur.
Yeah,
and I listened and I was like, oh, I want to play.
Yeah. So then I said, when you like come back and we start recording again, we should play a round of it with you too. So we're going to play a book guessing game, which that's it. Arthur and I played closer to the beginning of the year, where essentially we've each picked like a small pile of books that the other person has not read. So we don't really know the plot points of particularly. We will read a small passage of the beginning of the book, maybe the first 3-4 lines or first paragraph, whatever makes the most sense in context. And then the other person will have to try to guess what the plot of the novel is, essentially. Yeah. And this is mostly because like it's not like guess what the book is, because like I'm holding it up in front of you. You can see what it is and who it's by.
I wasn't too sure how we were gonna do this.
I know.
At first Megan said to me, oh, we're gonna like read the first line and then you have to guess the book. I'm like, so I guess I should pick like 1984 The Great Gatsby? Like,
sorry, yeah, I feel like I did not do a good job of describing that first.
I'm like, how are you gonna guess?
Not easily. So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to try this out on our end of things and then see maybe like how close we get or how many plot points. I really want to see at the end of this how much better each of us are at, because like when I do this with Arthur, he's just like, here's this sci-fi novel that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, what do you think this is about? Reads the first few lines and I'm like, and he did the same thing with me as well,
because your reading choices are so different. But Megan and I have some very similar choices, so
we have a lot of overlap, even if we're not reading all of the same books. I'm sure Shirin's about to like show some books right now and tell you the titles of them that you're gonna be like, Megan, you ever read that fucking book? No, I haven't. Okay. No, I have not.
I'm more your mainstream gal.
Yeah, exactly. It's good because it means that when I do get to them, we have a ton to talk about, and I really appreciate it. Do you want me to go first?
You go ahead.
Okay. So the first book that I'm using is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. Everybody knows who Frida McFadden is at this point, right? The Housemaid's getting a movie with Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried and stuff. Yep. Yeah.
I do have The Housemaid. I have not read it, but I know that she's an excellent thriller author.
Oh, yeah. It's very, very fast.
Okay, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
Okay, so let's try like the first, I don't know, whatever. Let's try the first paragraph, shall we? Okay. So this is from the prologue. It's titled Before, and this is a multi-perspective book, so this is from Tom's perspective.
Okay.
I am desperately, painfully, completely, and stupidly in love. Her name is Daisy. We met when we were 4 years old. I've been in love with the girl since age 4. That's how pathetic I am. I saw her at the playground feeding bits of her sandwich to the hungry squirrels, and all I could think of was that I'd never met any living creature as beautiful or as kind as Daisy Driscoll, and I was gone.
Oh, he's a stalker. Oh, he's totally a stalker. Also, hang on. Hold the phone.
Yeah.
His name is Tom, and her name is Daisy. What is he, Tom Buchanan and Daisy?
Oh, God, that's right. Oh, I didn't even think about that, and I read this whole book.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even put that together.
Geez, freedom of fat.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
That was a little on the nose, maybe.
No, he sounds like a stalker. Like, okay, maybe he's not a stalker.
Okay.
Maybe he has been with her for... So first of all, I know nothing about this book. I will throw this out there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Tom is the boyfriend. And it sounds like Daisy is either they were together or he was in love with her from afar. I'm going to go with that. He's been in love with her from afar, and he's imagining himself as her boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
And maybe she's like the object of his affections, and he gets close, or he does kill her because he can't have her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a tricky one, I find, anyway, because like I said, it's split perspective, and it's also split time periods in the sense that, right, like this is titled before the prologue.
Okay.
There are split, like, different perspectives from different time frames, one from before when Tom is young and one from present day other characters, and they eventually converge with one another.
Okay.
You know, towards the climax. So you find out what before led to what's happening now.
Okay.
And the basic overall, I guess, premise of this novel is that it actually follows a woman named Sydney who has recently met a guy who she's super into. And doesn't know as much about him as she thinks she does. At the same time, something terrible has just happened, and there's been like a murder that's occurred with somebody she's very close to, and she's trying to piece that together, and she slowly starts to realize certain things about her boyfriend that she starts to question, as well as other people around her kind of start to question, like, he maybe have something to do with this. I don't know. And so it has to do with the split perspective between like Tom and Sydney and how we got to the point that we're at now. And like, are they related to each other at all? Ooh. Like, you don't know kind of right away. Yeah. Yeah, I will say super, super fast read. I think I read this in like January or February. I was done in like 48 hours. Boom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's one of those thrillers that you're just like, okay, well, I'm here, so I'm just going to keep going because I really like to get to the point where I understand why all of this is happening at the same time.
All right. I might ask you to leave that here so I can read it. I'm just going to...
I had a weird feeling.
I'm just gonna thanks.
I had a feeling when I was like bringing some of these over, I was like, I wonder if I'm gonna read some of these, and Shiri's just gonna be like, do you want to just leave that at my house?
That here so I can read it?
Oh, I didn't bring you the book club for Troublesome Women. I'm gonna have to do that too. That was a fun one.
So Megan, out of 10, how do you think I did on guessing the plot? Because based on what you just said, it doesn't sound like I was anywhere near.
No, but you have like, there are like similarities. I'd say you're probably at like a 5 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like, you have like probably enough, but also it's difficult because since it's split perspective, you don't know who the other perspective is going to be, right? Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it like a 5 out of 10.
Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough. Cool. All right, okay, I'm going to pick up one of mine.
Okay.
So this one, you've never read this one, right?
I have never read this.
All right, so this is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune.
Just cue gasps from people who are like, so I've not read any T.J. Klune yet, and I know it's one of those things.
Yeah.
I know there are several series that are super popular, and it's one of those that's on my list that I'm like, yeah, you know what, I need to start reading some of these eventually, because all I've heard are good things.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, I read this a while ago now, so I could give it a reread, but I really loved this book. Yeah. I loved it so much that I got my husband to read it. Okay. And I really only do that with books that I'm like, I need someone to talk to about this.
Yeah,
because it was just a really good, feel-good book.
I'm glad that, you're so lucky you can get your husband to do that. I can't get Arthur to do anything like that because we're always reading totally different books. And I know Dan reads different books than you do, but it's like pulling teeth. We played a game a couple weeks ago, just the two of us, where we were quote unquote tricking each other into reading books. That was a fun episode if you guys want to go listen to it. Yeah. And we were talking about how, like, we were describing plot points of novels that we would not name in very particular sort of vague ways, and then based on those plot points, like things about the book, would you be interested in reading it?
Right.
And we did it, and I tricked him like a couple of times. A couple of them it was like How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix,
right.
like a book that he will like. But I also maybe have gotten him agree to read Butcher and Blackbird before the end of the year.
Nice.
Because I tricked him into liking Scythe and Sparrow, which is the third book in this series, and I was like, oh, you're gonna read this.
Oh, we should totally do like an episode on that.
That would be incredible.
Yeah. We could also at this point do an episode on Fourth Wing, because my husband has read all three of them, and he like angrily read them.
God,
like
it wasn't
like
when you hate watch something. That's what he did.
He was like reading the whole thing, and he's like, yeah, okay, this is fun. Like,
pretty much.
Okay, so The House in the Cerulean Sea.
Yes.
All right, so
I always love the cover on this book. It's so cute and cartoony with the little house that's like dangling on a cliffside.
It's so sweet.
Yeah.
So, okay. Oh dear, Linus Baker said, wiping the sweat from his brow. This is most unusual. That was an understatement. He watched in rapt wonder as an 11-year-old girl named Daisy levitated blocks of wood high above her head. The blocks spun in slow concentric. You ever do that when you're reading? Yeah, I hate
all
that.
The time.
You know when you like read a word so much that you know how to like say it in your head and you know what it means, but you don't know how to pronounce it?
Yes.
Yeah, like epitome.
Oh my God.
Epitome?
Epitome? No.
Okay, sorry. The blocks spun in slow concentric circles. Daisy frowned in concentration. The tip of her tongue stuck out between her teeth. It went on for a good minute before the blocks slowly lowered to the floor. Her level of control was astounding.
Oof. Okay. I mean, the only thing, I'm so glad that I don't read synopses of novels on a regular basis when they're popular, because it would just give away everything for me. I guess I wouldn't really know what to say about it other than obviously it's about a person or a group of people who live like on this like little sort of like secluded cliffside house. Yeah. Maybe like a dilapidated one. And they obviously have some sort of psychic or magical ability of some kind. And I'm going to go ahead and assume that there's so much more to that. And there's like a lot of things that happen to them throughout the course of the novel. But like just from that, that's all I can decipher. So like it's like I could have continued reading a little bit. That would have given you a little bit more exposure, even just a couple of lines. But basically, Linus, the main character, is a social worker for children with like unusual powers or like unusual like in the way that they are. So he's got files on all the kids who have like magical abilities like all over the world, and he works for an organization that like tracks them basically. And so they send him out to like evaluate them and whatnot. Linus is a very simple man who likes everything just so. He lives in his little house with his cat, who he doesn't really like that much because his cat is really mean to him. And he's got this really horrible neighbor. And so his life is just kind of like lame. Aside from like the magical aspect of it, like he's got the most mundane life. He like works in a cubicle, and the organization that he works for is like a parody of an organization where you've got like the top executives who are kind of like evil and stuff. Anyway, so he gets sent to the house in the Cerulean Sea because they know of this place, given they have documents on all the children, and it just so happens that the Antichrist lives in this house. Oh my God. It's hilarious, this book. It's so good. And what's great is that Linus, his character really develops throughout the book. He really comes out of his shell and like finds himself. And so that's why it's such a good story. Oh, that's fun. So definitely recommend it. You can borrow it if you want. Yeah, I would like to. That sounds super fun. And I know that like not just this book, but like Under the Whispering Door and like Brother Song, like all of those ones as well have been incredibly well received and very popular. So I know TJ Klune is like on top of things. Yeah. But this is like feel good story. Think like Miss Peregrine's School, but like feel good version. Fun. Okay, that's fun. Yay, that sounds fun. Okay, so my next book is called Death in the Downline by Maria Abrams. It's a newer release. I think it was only released at the beginning of this year, maybe like February or March. So it's not been out very, very long, essentially. I don't know if you can discern anything from both the title and or the...
I don't know, like, at first glance, I thought this was going to be a romance, but now it looks like a murder.
Yeah, it's more of a murder than a romance, I will say. This one, it's only, like, if you don't know anything about, like, this kind of stuff, I'll explain what it is after, but if you don't know anything about this kind of stuff, you'll read this and be like, what the hell is this title? Like, I don't know. But if you do know about this sort of, like, part of the world and, like, a bunch of women who are in groups like this will make a lot of sense to you.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay, so anyway, let me actually get to the beginning of this. Okay. How did I end up here? It was the single thought that looped through my brain since leaving New York, one that never let up. It was 2018. The world was busy playing with fidget spinners and watching teens eat detergent pods online. I was busy being torn from the city I loved, even though I'd done everything right. In the end, it didn't matter. This is what I kept thinking, but I did everything right as I stared blankly at the shelf. Boxes of dried pasta were squeezed together side by side, competing to be the focal point. Buy me, no, buy me instead. My shoulders went limp. Was this what my life had become? Spending a weekday afternoon shopping for cheap noodles instead of doing literally anything else? I picked the first one I saw, store-brand linguine, having forgotten which kind my dad asked for. As if on cue, my phone buzzed with a message.
So that intro doesn't tell me much, but after you said these groups of women, and I'm looking again at the picture here.
I wonder if you can decide.
I'm now starting to wonder if this is like an MLM-based story.
Well done.
And now I'm wondering if she got either the beginning of this, she has already been screwed over by the company, or if she's like she needs a way of making money, so she gets screwed over by the company, and it turns out to be like a murder company or something.
So you're completely right on part 2
okay.
of that. So this novel is it's a murder mystery. It's a murder mystery, kind of. Not exactly, but it's kind of, anyway, it's something that has to do with the world of MLMs, which if you don't know what that is, it's a multi-level marketing company or direct sales, whatever you want to call it. Their shape, it's like a pyramid scheme, essentially, even though they don't want to say that it is.
Some examples include LuLaRoe.
LuLaRoe, Monate, Hair Care is a big one, doTERRA, there are a ton of them out there.
What's that nutritional one?
Oh God.
It was really popular.
Yes, Herbalife. They used to have shops all over the place. Right. They still do, and they like make smoothies with their supplements and stuff. I came across one like this year.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, like within the past year. It was a weird, we realized where we were and we left. Anyway, so this is sort of like I guess kind of like a black comedy murder mystery book. Follows a woman named Drew who was fired from her job. She's been laid off. She has to move from New York back to New Jersey with her father. Okay. And he also doesn't make very much money, so they're very much struggling to make ends meet. She can't find another job. She's trying to get a job in journalism. Okay. And is having a hard time. I think she was writing online quizzes for BuzzFeed.
Oh, right,
like that kind of thing, and then she got laid off.
Okay. What, people don't want to know what kind of bread they are anymore?
Seriously, what the fuck, guys? Keep people afloat. Anyway, so she moves back to New Jersey, and while she's there, she runs into her former best friend from high school, who is glowing and looking great, and tells her about this wonderful opportunity that she's found that she can be a part of. And in her desperation, Drew decides to join the MLM. And what? Yeah. She's like, give me the book.
I need this.
Give me the book.
Great.
And that's it. Basically, through there are other things that lead up to a darker side of the MLM. Like, this takes the MLM, which in my opinion, if you start looking into quite a few of them, can be quite a bit dark already. But this takes it and runs with it towards the sort of like quirky murder mystery side of things to a degree.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right. It was pretty fun. I will say it wasn't like, groundbreaking, but it was fun. And I had picked it up because I was like, oh God, it's a murder mystery set in an MLM. Yes, please. Thank you. That seems fun.
And Megan started going down this huge rabbit hole about MLMs after the LuLaRoe documentary.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, now I just like,
it was like a gateway drug.
Yeah, it was like a gateway drug for me, and I've like looked into a bunch of them, and I have like a couple of like YouTube channels that I'll watch who do like anti-MLM content and stuff.
Gotta find a podcast like that.
There probably are some.
Like Digging Up the Duggars.
Yeah, for
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Hannah Alonso on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
She's wonderful. She's great. She gives a ton of really great information when she's explaining things to do with the MLM structure and how they work. And sort of like the idea of all of this stuff and like the sort of like sinister kind of aspect of this. Yeah. Her stuff's very cool, I will say.
Yeah. Cool. Where I'm just like now taking all these books.
Everything I'm bringing over, she's like, excuse me, I'm just going to take.
I'm just going to think. Okay, moving on. Okay. The next one I have in my pile, and I realize that while Megan's are going to be mostly murder mystery thingies, mine are all going to be fantasy.
That's fine. That's good. It means we have a nice mashup or mishmash of things.
Mishmash. Okay. And I just realized I've been...
Oh no, you left the dust jacket. Oh, I hate it when that happens.
Do that, Shirin? Okay. So the one I have in front of me is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab.
Very famous for the Vicious series or whatever the hell it's called.
V.E. Schwab has written a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she's pretty big.
Yeah, I actually don't know if it's man or woman.
I believe she's female, or maybe I'm not sure.
They. Okay, we'll go with they.
Yeah.
I've got some other V.E. Schwab books over there somewhere, which I haven't read yet, but I did read this one. I thought it was pretty interesting when I read it. Was it my favorite book? No. But it was interesting enough. So, quite a well-known one. Surprised you haven't read it, actually, Megan.
I have it, and I haven't read it.
You have it, but you've never read it.
I have a copy, but I haven't read it.
Okay. All right. So let me read. Villons-sur-Sarthe, France, in July 1714.
Okay.
A girl is running for her life. The summer air burns at her back, but there are no torches, no angry mobs, only the distant lanterns of the wedding party. The reddish glow of the sun as it breaks against the horizon, cracks and spills across the hills, and the girl runs, skirts tangling in the grass as she surges towards the woods, trying to beat the dying daylight. Voices carry on the wind, calling her name. Adeline? Adeline? Adeline.
Okay. I cannot remember from anything that I'm aware of from this book. I cannot remember really anything about what it is about other than that's it. Adeline LaRue is the main character, obviously. And I can't remember if it's a time travel thing or if she doesn't age, if she lives forever, it's an immortality thing. And I think it's the latter.
Yeah.
And she, that's it, kind of just, lives through and has to, make her way through, basically multiple generations worth of people, but she does not age or change.
Yeah, so, this one is about Adeline LaRue, who is from France originally in the 1700s. You are correct. She is immortal. She makes a deal with the devil.
Okay.
And she does not age, however... When she meets someone, they immediately forget her.
Okay.
So no one ever remembers her.
Okay,
and
so she can walk around for as long as she wants to in the same place and it won't matter, basically.
Exactly. She could come face to face with you, and then as soon as your conversation ends and you turn away and you look back, you wouldn't remember her.
Right, okay.
You would go back to being if you were a shopkeeper or something, you'd be like, oh, can I help you? And you just had a conversation with her,
okay.
You know? So obviously this means that Addie's life is very lonely.
I imagine, yes.
And from what I remember, the devil does this because he wants her to ask him to kill her.
Oh, wow.
So, but she won't. She refuses until one day she meets someone who happens to remember her.
Oh.
So anyway, so that's the story.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's pretty good. It just kind of drags a little bit.
Okay.
It's a little slow.
Yeah.
The concept of this book is really good. I just found it was, some parts you're okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's not bad.
Oh, wait, we're not rating each other. Okay, wait.
No.
How did I do out of 10 on that, roughly?
I would say a 7. Probably.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't rate me on the MLM one.
The MLM one, I'm definitely going to say you were a 7 or an 8 out of 10, basically. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we're pretty high up there, so all good.
Cool.
Okay, my next book is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager.
Love some Riley Sager.
Read this a while ago. This was a little bit older than you've read The Only One Left and stuff. This is a little older than that. This is one of my favorites, I would say, of his that I've read. I know he's got one that comes out every year, so
yep.
So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. I would say took a turn that I wasn't expecting it to. So okay, this one also jumps between before and now, basically.
Okay.
So this one is now. Light slices the darkness, jerking me awake. My right eye, someone's trying to pry it open. Latex-gloved fingers part the lids, yanking on them like they're stubborn window shades. There's more light now, harsh, painfully bright. A pen light aimed at my pupil. Same one's done to my left eye. Pry, part, light. The fingers release my lids, and I'm plunged back into darkness. Someone speaks, a man with a gentle voice. Can you hear me? I open my mouth, and hot pain circles my jaw. Stray bolts of it jab my neck and cheek. Yes. My voice is a rasp. My throat is parched. So are my lips, save for a slick spot of wet warmth with a metallic taste. Am I bleeding? You are, says the same voice as before. Just a little. Could have been worse. A lot worse, another voice says. Where am I? The first voice answers, a hospital, honey. We're taking you for some tests. We need to see how badly banged up you really are.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like this person's either they found themselves in a situation where they're having, like, weird medical tests performed on them against their will, or they've been in some sort of accident or some sort of altercation where they lost consciousness and they woke up in the hospital. The book is called Lock Every Door. I've read a bit of Riley Sager.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this is like someone in their own home got, I don't know, beaten up, or someone tried to kill them in their own home.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. I'm going to say, because that gives nothing away about what's actually happened in this book for her to get to this point. So I'm going to say, like, 5 probably. Yeah. Like, just because, this gives you no information at all. So, this, obviously, it's a thriller. Shocking, I know. It's about a young woman named Jules, is it? Yes, Jules Larson. She is a down on her luck type, essentially looking for something, and she gets a job as an apartment sitter at this really massive building in New York called the Bartholomew, one of these, like, really old apartment complexes in the city, basically. So it's like, think like Only Murders in the Building, like that apartment complex, kind of like one of those like famous ones almost. And like, it's very posh. A lot of very famous people live there or have lived there. So they need someone who can be very discreet, who will go in, go out, not bother the famous people who live there, because there are some. Right. And stuff, and just kind of like go in, do what they have to do. She starts to notice some weird stuff a little bit about the apartment that she's sitting while she's there, and some weird stuff going on in the building. And when another apartment sitter, who is on another floor, if I'm not mistaken, goes missing, and no one seems to care about it, she starts looking into what the fuck is actually going on in the Bartholomew and what they're hiding in the building. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, not my cup of cake.
Yeah. I was surprised, actually, with this one. I will say, I thought it was going to go in a more supernatural direction than it did. And it did not, and I was surprised.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. It's like based on your description, it's giving me vibes of like The Woman in the Window, whatever those were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, not what you think.
No? Okay.
Strangely enough,
Interesting.
No.
Yeah. Okay. All interesting. All right. I'm going to pick up one that everybody's heard about now.
Yes.
I've got 2 in my pile that everybody's heard about. So the first one is Quicksilver by Callie Hart.
Yeah. Yes, I haven't read it. Oh my God, you're crazy. Yes, I got a copy at the beginning of this year at home. Yes, I'll probably read it before the end of the year at some point. Okay? That's all I want to hear.
The second one's coming out this year, isn't it?
Probably. I don't know. Yeah. I'm about to start Phantasma, so I'm going to see about that one before I read the second one as well.
Okay, so
there's so much at the beginning of these.
Oh, there's a pronunciation guide.
Wow.
You know that you're in for some real fantasy.
That you're in epic fantasy, high fantasy shit when they need to give you a pronunciation guide for like the names, the places. Yeah.
I think these are mostly based on Gaelic.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's like the dragons' names and stuff in Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They're all like Scottish Gaelic.
Exactly. So. Okay. There's really no need for all this violence. It was common knowledge in Zilvaran City that to lie to a guardian meant death. I knew this in a first-hand, painful way that most other Zilvarans did not. Almost a year ago to the day, I'd watched one of the Queen's men clad in beaten gold armor gut my neighbor for lying about his age. And before that, and far worse, I'd stood silently in the street while my mother's throat had been split wide open, spilling jets of hot peasant blood into the sun-baked sand.
Jesus. So violent.
It is.
So that's it. And I know people will be shocked to know this, but I don't know anything about Quicksilver.
Really?
Legitimately, I will say, like, thank you, Book Talk, for not spoiling the plot of this novel.
Yeah.
Like, people have obviously, like, you know, people are like, oh, Kingfisher and blah, 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 and like a new, like, Shadow Daddy, Book Daddy thing. Cool. Like, whatever, that's fine. But I actually genuinely don't really know much about what this novel's about.
Yeah.
And it's at the point where with the popular ones, I kind of want to go in blind. So when I buy them, I don't read the dust jacket. I'm just kind of like, it's fine, I'm just going to buy it.
I know this name.
Exactly. Where I'm like, oh, great, I will read that. So I just pick it up and that's it. So I don't know what it's, I can assume it's like, it's obviously high fantasy and I can assume that it's maybe fae, but I actually don't know if that's the case in this one or if it's something slightly different and it's like this woman who's like the main character or whatever, like winds up doing something, or maybe she's like a thief or whatever kind of thing and she has to like run away from something and she meets this Kingfisher guy and they go off, they decide to band forces, and I feel like it's an enemies to lovers, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty spot on for most of that. I'm gonna give you like, I gotta give you like a 7 on that, or like an 8.
Okay.
So basically the main character, Saris.
Okay.
So Saris, is, very like ACOTAR similar, like very poor.
She's very Feyre adjacent.
Yeah, like, they're poor.
Right.
She, ends up stealing, I believe it's a gauntlet or something.
Oh, sure, okay.
From the queen, and she gets caught, and she's about to be like murdered on the spot, basically, for her, you know, actions, and she knows very well. So they're in a world where the peasants are extremely poor.
Okay.
Like to the point where they have their water rationed.
Oh my god.
On a daily basis.
Right.
So they all behave almost like animals.
Okay.
Because they're all like, you know, they're starving, they're thirsty, like they're all at each other's throats. And so she tries to steal something that has a lot of value.
Okay.
And she gets caught. And so she's like facing sure death. And she finds out that she has an ability to manipulate metal.
Oh, okay.
So this occurs like in the moment where she is like fighting for her life, basically. And she is able to manipulate silver.
Oh, hence the Quicksilver. Got it.
Quicksilver.
See, I didn't even know why it was called that.
Yeah, and well, Quicksilver is actually a blade, so it's a sword. And it calls to her.
Okay.
So the Quicksilver calls to her. The Quicksilver is also like this liquid that kind of hangs. Anyway, whatever. I'm a little fuzzy on the details. I'll be honest, people. Please don't come for me. I was reading this / listening to the audiobook while I had like sleepless nights with a newborn. So please don't come for me. It's a very, very detailed high fantasy. So I'm going to have to give it another go to like make sure that I have all the details. But basically, she is able to manipulate this Quicksilver, and the Fae have been looking for someone who can do this for a very long time.
Okay.
And so as soon as she manipulates, or this Quicksilver calls to her, Kingfisher appears because he's like, shit, I've been looking for you for a long time.
I see.
And they need her. And so she gets whisked away into the land of the Fae.
Okay.
And she's under the impression that this didn't exist. Like, this was all myths and legends and stuff. And so now she's like plunged into this world of the Fae, and there's also a big war with vampires going on.
Ooh, vampires, fun.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, there's like a big vampire war going on as well. So like there's a whole thing going on. So it's pretty good. Kingfisher is another shadow daddy.
Yeah.
Like, again, you know.
I mean, like, yes, eventually, like, and like, we get it. Don't get me wrong. I definitely know why. It's just that, yes, at some point or another, you're like, yes, we know. That's what they're like in fantasy novels now. So.
Exactly. So yeah, it's pretty good. Not bad. I'm probably gonna have to give it another read before the second one comes out.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah,
I mean, it's detailed as they are. There's a lot of world building. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in these things, so it's normal.
Definitely.
Okay. All right, my next choice is So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that looks like vampires to me.
That already gives you at least like a little bit of an idea. So anyway, okay. Sunlight severs me from sleep. I grasp at a fading dream, catch its last breath, quiet and wispy as a cobweb. Feels tragic, but I already forget what the dream was about. Something good. Was I at the mall again? I'm always dreaming about this mall. It's the same mall, except a little different every time. The store has changed, the layout, fountain to throw loose change into while wishing to strike it rich. I have to tell Naomi. She's also had a dream mall. It's a cornerstone of our friendship.
Okay, this sounds like girly BFF vampires. This is like me and you if we were vampires.
They're messier bitches, I guess, but like that's also what makes like a book good, I guess. So no, definitely. So I'd say you're probably at like a 7 at that point, just because it gives you at least an idea. So so this is about a woman named Sloane. She's celebrating, I think it's her 30th birthday or something. So it's like a milestone birthday. She's getting older. She's married. The marriage is not good. And in sort of Rachel Harrison fashion, she writes horror that's very female focused and very like feminist in its tone. And it has a lot to do with female relationships in the novel. So it's not that the marriage doesn't matter, but the relationship between Sloane and her best friend Naomi is really like what matters in the book. They go away together to celebrate her birthday at like a big lodge. They kind of get stuck there. Naomi is very reckless, very wild. She meets this group of people that she decides that she wants to go to a party with, and Sloane sort of reluctantly tags along, what she tends to do. And while they're there, they obviously discover certain things, vampire-adjacent things about this group of people, and get wrapped up in everything that's going on with them.
Nice.
This is like my 3rd Rachel Harrison book. I think this one was just published last year, if I'm not mistaken. I read Such Sharp Teeth, which is a werewolf-focused novel, and Cackle, which is her witch one.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, you told me about these ones.
She does a lot of these ones.
I like it.
I really like the tone of her novels, and I really like the female relationships in all of them, the difficulties, the good aspects of them, the bad aspects of them, and how you like tackle different things like that, and the idea of women kind of getting them each other through a lot of difficulties in their lives, and the idea in this of like, you know, that no matter how messy certain things can be, that really like at the end of the day, like your relationship with your best friend is actually really important. And how important it is to kind of maintain all of that. So this was one that I really enjoyed, and they're not very long. They're pretty snappy to get through overall.
Yeah, it looks pretty short.
Yeah. So no, it's a good one. I like this one. And she takes some of it's a little darker because it is a horror novel, but it's not like so descriptive that you're going to be like icked out the whole time. So it's fine.
It's like when the first Grady Hendrix book I read was the Southern Book.
Oh, Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires.
Right. Yeah. And like, you know, the first scene where her ear gets bitten off and like the details, I was literally like, holding the book like this. I was like,
hold it away from me, and then it won't be as bad if it's farther away.
That's going to be me.
Yeah.
So the next one I've got here is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. Olivia Blake?
I don't know. I haven't read any of her stuff.
I have so many of her books.
You're so funny.
I've got these. I've got like all 3 of the Atlas 6. I've got Masters of Death.
Oh, I've seen that one pop up, but again, see, I haven't read any of her stuff, and I don't know what any of it's about. Oh.
And I also got another one, something like Talented.
Okay.
Something like that. Anyway, that one just came out. So the Atlas 6, quite popular. There was the Atlas Paradox, and then the Atlas Complex.
All of her covers look the same, so I can never tell what goes with what.
Yeah, they all are quite similar. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to just go right into it. This starts with saying beginning. Perhaps it was a tired thing, all of the references the world had already made to the Ptolemaic Royal Library of Alexandria. History had proven the library to be endlessly fascinating as a subject, either because the obsession with what it might have contained was bound only by the imagination, or because humanity longs for things more ardently as a collective. All men can love a forbidden thing, generally speaking, and in most cases, knowledge is precisely that. Lost knowledge even more so. Tired or not, there is something for everyone to long for when it comes to the Library of Alexandria, and we have already been a species highly susceptible to the call of the distant unknown.
Oh my God, that gives me no idea what the plot of this novel is. I feel like I'm going to base myself so much more on, like, the cover than anything else. I feel like this is dark academia. So, like, but sways into, like, the fantasy potential territory. But it's about 6 people. I literally don't know. I don't know what this is about.
You're absolutely right. It is about 6 people. It is dark academia.
It's that black and gold, and it says knowledge is carnage on the front. So I'm like, aha. It's about education in some capacity.
So basically, the Alexandrian Society, led by Atlas.
Oh, got it.
So Atlas goes and selects 6 new candidates.
Okay.
Every, I can't remember how often it is, but every so often, he goes and selects 6 new candidates, and they basically have to compete for, like, the spot to kind of protect and be the knowledge bringers of the Library of Alexandria. So all 6 of these people, he goes all around the world, and he knows who they are, and goes and approaches them to take part in his program, basically. And so all 6 of these people in this novel, they have powers, basically. It's interesting because 2 of them they knew each other. They came from the same school, same place, and they both have the same power. So they're able to, like, manipulate physical objects. But you have one who is like she's telepathic. One of them's able to speak to plants.
Oh God!
So she, like, they obey her, basically. They call her mother. Oh God! So she's like Mother Nature.
So she's actually mother. Yeah.
One of the so anyway, 6 of them, they all 6 have different powers, except 2 of them have the same one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about the interactions between these 6 people, and they're competing for this spot, basically.
Interesting. All right. Yeah.
It's not bad.
That's very up your alley. Very up your alley.
Yeah, it's not bad.
All right. My last book, we definitely need to wrap this up. I feel like we've been talking for ages. My last book is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix, which is his latest in a long line of books that I love because, Anyway, chapter 1. She didn't think things could get any worse, and then she saw the sign. Welcome to Florida. It read the sunshine. The sunshine state. She knew she shouldn't ask. She knew she stood in a puddle of gasoline, and every word was a lit match falling from her lips. She knew her dad hated her, but that sign made her throat squeeze shut so tight she couldn't breathe, and her bloated stomach pressed on her lungs so hard she couldn't get enough air, and she'd suffocate if she didn't say something. Dad, she said, why are we in Florida? His hands tightened around the steering wheel until it creaked, but he kept his eyes on the road. Huntsville's the opposite way, she said, trying to stay calm. They'd been driving for hours, and in all that time, he hadn't looked at her once. He'd shown up at Aunt Peggy's that morning so angry his hands shook as he snatched her clothes and stuffed them in her suitcase and slammed it shut. One of her bra straps stuck out of the side, but she didn't think it was smart to say anything. It isn't too smart for a girl to be smart, her mom had always said.
So this... Now I'm going out on a limb here.
Yeah.
This sounds like this main character is perhaps a bit rebellious. She may have got into some trouble or something, and now she's being forced to go somewhere against her will, and probably she's going to meet a group of people, and they're going to start doing witchcraft or something.
I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm going to say like 7 or something for that. So this book is set in the 70s at a time where young unwed mothers were not a thing. And so the main character is a 15-year-old who gets pregnant accidentally, and her father takes her to a home for girls in trouble so she can have the baby and then give it away and then come back and pretend nothing happened.
Ew.
And so while she's there, of course, she meets an entire group of girls who are being taken care of in this manner by adults who don't care about them particularly in any capacity other than to, manipulate them and gaslight them into feeling certain ways about their pregnancies and themselves as women and how sullied they are by their current conditions and all that kind of stuff, and don't care anything about the circumstances surrounding them. And these girls, through a librarian that they meet and through a book that they're given by this librarian about how to be a witch, basically, are able to, they start playing around with things that are, definitely out of their usual realm and maybe kind of allow them to step into their own power to an extent, but there are definitely consequences for those as well. Yeah. This is his latest. I finished it pretty recently, actually, because I was in the middle of like an ARC and a bunch of other stuff, so it took me a while to get through it. I really enjoyed it. It lagged in the middle for me, which doesn't normally happen for me. I love Grady Hendrix novels. and it doesn't normally, like, you know, this one, when it came out, everybody was like, this is my new favorite, and I find a lot of the time people overhype stuff when they are first published, and I get it, but this one lagged a little bit for me, but he knows how to set up a good story, he knows how to write female characters, and he knows how to write an ending, which is not something you can say about every author. So yeah, it's still right up there. I really enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah. I'll get that from you later.
Okay.
I've now got a stack of books that I got.
Yeah, no, there's just like 3 books sitting over there that she's like, excuse me, I'm just gonna keep.
Excuse me, I'm just gonna thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, my last one.
All right, last one.
To no one's surprise is Sarah Moss.
Yes.
Crescent City. The first one is House of Earth and Blood.
I don't even know which one is which. I'm always just like, I don't know. There's
a red one.
It's a house of something.
One. Okay, here, let me read. So part 1, The Hollow. There was a wolf at the gallery door, which meant it must be Thursday, which meant Bryce had to be really goddamn tired if she relied on Danica's coming and goings to figure out what day it was. The heavy metal door to Griffin Antiquities thudded with the impact of the wolf's fist. A fist that Bryce knew ended in metallic purple painted nails in dire need of a manicure. A heartbeat later, a female voice barked, half muffled through the steel. Open the hell up, B. It's hot as shit out here.
There are werewolves in this? Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, like, I don't know. I assume it's about these 2 friends, probably. The one of them's a werewolf. That's cool. I guess if this exists in the Sarah J. Maas universe, there are still fae and there are like other creatures and stuff around. And again, I can only assume it's semi-high fantasy, epic adventure of some kind. And I'm assuming, as usual, the young female narrator will discover something about herself that she didn't know probably prior to all of this starting.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I can't really give you a rating there because the problem with any Sarah Moss, it's not a standalone. Like, I didn't do a very good job at selecting non-standalone books here. Sorry.
You read a lot of series. Though.
I read a lot of series.
That's the thing.
I wanted to bring Crescent City out because being on forums like Sarah Moss forums, I feel like it gets a lot of hate. I
think people have a lot more trouble with these ones because of the type of world building that happens in them.
Yes.
And maybe it's a little less fluffy that way than ACOTAR is.
I mean, so this is like, it's not as high fantasy as like Throne of Glass and ACOTAR because it takes place in like a city.
Okay.
So like half of it is quite familiar, you know?
Yeah, okay.
A lot of people DNF these books and I'm like, these are actually my favorite ones.
Okay.
My favorite Moss books are the Crescent City ones. Because it is about a friendship more than anything.
Yeah.
And the power of friendship and the importance of friendship. Now, no spoilers here. So Bryce and Danica have the best friendship, and within about 2 chapters, Danica dies.
Oh my god.
Like, gruesomely.
Oh, that's awful.
And so it turns into a bit of a murder mystery.
Okay.
The first one, anyway, is all about, like, who killed her best friend. And so Bryce, to your point, so she's half fae.
Yeah.
And she kind of goes through, like, her whole grieving process where she allows her entire life to fall apart.
Yeah.
Before she pulls herself back together to figure out what the hell happened to her best friend.
Makes sense.
And her best friend is a werewolf, and she's like the head of the werewolf.
Oh, okay.
What do you call them?
I don't know. Clan. Pack.
Sorry,
wow.
pack.
Hey, we should know this. I've read some Omegaverse books. I should know this.
So anyway, all that to say, really great book. You would probably enjoy it a lot.
I probably would, yeah.
I think you would enjoy this more than ACOTAR, actually.
Okay.
So
all right, cool.
Anyway, it's on my shelf whenever you're ready to read it.
Nice. I'll get to it, the way I get to things. We all know how I do this.
Sometimes I just buy her books to
it's
to read
fine.
them.
Exactly. Well, you bought me the whole Throne of Glass series.
I did.
I'm looking forward to starting it, honestly. I feel like that one, once I start it, I'm going to be super into it.
Oh, yeah.
So.
But you gotta give it a minute to
probably. Yeah. Well, there's like 7 of them, so that makes sense. I like this game. It's just a fun game to play. It's just like it's fun, it's easy, and you know what? We discover a few things. You literally have extra books sitting over on your side right now. Just that you're
3 new books.
Because we also, like, since you are reading like a lot of the fantasy series that I hear about, I already know stuff, but I feel like I have a tendency to like just pick things up and read them, and you've not heard anything about them.
Okay,
so you're like, Megan, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, these two would have never ever picked them up. So Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So yay. Okay, love that. Yay. All right. So that was fun. So we're going to wrap it up because we've been at this for a while.
You're probably fed up with us.
Yeah. Anyway, as usual, you can always check out everything we have going on over at the website at fullybooked.ca, where our wonderful team of contributors is coming at you regularly with new content, including ourselves. Feel free to follow us on all of our social media. So Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, just search for Fully Booked CA and you'll find us over there. But until next week, guys, and another new little game for everybody, keep on reading.
Thanks, everyone.